So today we're going to be playing some Destiny 2, and I'm going to be showcasing the Burnout map. What I got here is we're playing the control game mode, which is kind of like a domination game mode where you have to go around and capture specific points on the map, and depending on how many points you or how many capture points you have, or how many flags you have, you'll get increased score per kill on an enemy. And the objective is to get 150 score. So if you have two flags, you can get 2 points per kill. If you have all three flags, you get 3 points per kill. One flag, you get 1 point per kill. So it's really an important thing to make sure you always have the majority of flags so that you can win easier or faster. So continuing on, let's talk about layout. So the layout of this map Burnout is actually pretty symmetrical. It's kind of just a mirror from one side to the next. If we go kind of outside here, the outside part is a little bit different, but essentially if you're on A side, it'll kind of look the exact same as C side, and then you just have B in the middle. It's kind of like the same thing. Like you still have like this doorway here, just like it is right there. Up here, if you go to the bridge area from A to C, it's just the same. So it's a completely symmetrical map. So the game mode is pretty good for this map considering it's kind of even across the board. So it's really good for gameplay. One of the kind of the flow of the map is, so when you spawn in, you'll kind of run up to your flag, you'll capture it, and then you'll generally rotate to the other. A lot of people will rotate to from we're at A, we'll generally rotate over to C. And a lot of people want the faster route, so they'll come up here from the bridge and they'll take this fast route right here, and they'll end up rushing the enemy team and coming over and actually capturing C flag. But there is other options, other routes you can take, which are a little bit slower. So if we were over at A and we actually went farther to the left, so over there in that doorway, a lot of people can just go through this open kind of pillar area, which does take a little bit longer, and it does kind of have, if I go over here, the sight line on it is longer, and you'll sometimes find snipers sitting on the other end, or people with maybe like ARs or scout rifles. They'll be watching, and you'll generally sometimes die from it. And then if you go back over here towards C, the flow from C is generally some people even go back to A if they want to kind of rush around and create a circle and start rotating counterclockwise. But from C, we can just kind of go over here. Sometimes you can catch people spawning in right here. If not, you can just continue rotating over to B. Pretty fast rotation. Rotate over to B, you can cap B. But from here, you kind of have to. From here, once you cap B, you can either go. People will generally rotate back to A, going this way, or you can take a center of the match approach, which is a bit riskier. So the main feature of this map is essentially this giant tube that's just the center. It's kind of a problem area because of its long sight lines. You'll have snipers just kind of watching down it, just huge sniper battles essentially. And so from here, generally people like to stay lower to the ground and close to this pillar, and they'll run on whichever side depending on where there are snipers. So they'll use this as cover, and they'll run kind of over here, jump up to the bridge, and then go take whichever point that they need to capture. But let me show you the perspective actually. I'll show you the perspective from kind of one side of this tube. So if you're a sniper, you can kind of have a long sight line from like right here, or you can have it right here. But the interesting thing that is nice about this map is these rotating parts that actually will block off your line of sight and actually allow people to move between the middle without getting shot. It almost cuts the map. Instead of being like 3 lanes kind of out, like on this outside, a lane in the tube, and then a lane on this more inner part. So instead of kind of being like 3 lanes, it kind of like looking this way, it almost turns it into 3 lanes looking this way. So you have kind of like a lane this way, you have a lane this way, and then you have a lane over here. So really, it chops it up into almost like 9 sections sometimes. But a majority of the time, people will kind of just kind of sit here and wait. But if you do want to move, there are some people who move through it kind of like this and just straight in the tube. And these actually make another interesting point of they force you to actually jump over them, putting you into a vulnerable position. So it's pretty risky if you do want to move through the center tube when these are at their like lowest peak. So that's just kind of one thing to be careful about. Now you might have noticed that there is this kind of purple thing over here. This is heavy ammo that spawns in every few minutes. Give you stuff for your heavy weapons. So I got a rocket launcher right here. Use on enemies. Now this is the only spot that it spawns in, so this is a pretty, besides for the tube, this is a pretty high volume area for people. Especially people might just like, they might not even go for the heavy ammo, but they'll like sit back on one of the sides here and just like catch people as they try to go for it. Yeah, this is about the only interactable that this map has is heavy ammo. I think that goes for all Destiny maps, is the only interactable is heavy ammo, so that is that over there. Let's talk about this outside part a little bit, because I haven't really shown too much of it. So obviously, compared to the inside, it really doesn't have any, as like the far end over there, it doesn't have low ceilings, or it doesn't have any movable parts. So it's really an open area where you can just kind of run around, catch people maybe like off guard as they're running. Although generally too many people don't go out here because it is like a death trap, kind of no man's land, so people will stick closer to the main structure, kind of over here and over here and right underneath here. So I think that is just about it for my review of this map. I guess just final thoughts is this map is actually pretty good for the game mode. I think it offers a lot of rotations and a lot of different pathways that you can take. You can really change things up. This map I wouldn't say is too good for like holding down a single position or single point. It's really more about rotating kind of constantly. So which actually makes it really interesting, because some maps it does kind of lock you into one team will always have like this flag, like A flag majority of the game, another team will always have C flag majority of the game, and it's like clash in the center for B. Whereas this, because B flag is off to like the side a little bit and not like directly in the center of the map, it does create that sort of rotating flow throughout the entire map, and it really makes it so everything is just constantly changing from A to C to B to A to C to B. And what was the other point there? sure there's another point somewhere, but I think that's kind of the final review. It's just a really good map in general. So, if you ever find yourself playing on this map, just remember, it's about rotations. Watch out for the long sight lines in both the tube and on the deep inner part of the map. And yeah, that's just about it.